You may be wondering, what is a wellness coach and what does a wellness coach do? And depending on who you ask, you'll hear many different descriptions. And in truth, wellness coaching can be many different things. But one way I like to start describing it is by saying that coaching is like personal training for your mindset. And just as you might work with a personal trainer to do physical exercises, you might decide to work with a wellness coach to help you develop your mental muscles. Now, when you hear the word coach, one of two images tends to pop into your mind. One image is that of an athletic or sports coach, in which we see an expert with a lot of knowledge who will teach, create the plays, and then hold the players accountable to follow through with the game plan. And then in the other vein, there is coaching as it descended from therapy and counseling. And when you go through formal wellness coach training, it tends to be more in the vein of a descendant of therapy or counseling, with the caveat that wellness coaches don't diagnose or treat mental disorders. Now, when I think about coaching from that perspective, I would say that coaching equals listening. Coaching equals questions. Coaching equals conversation. And sometimes coaching equals a little bit of expertise. Now, I totally understand why when people go to a health professional or a wellness coach or any other helping professional, that they might want to lean on that professional and just have them tell you everything that you should do. And in my coaching practice, I'm not against giving some advice or consulting with someone about what I think might be the best path forward to accomplish a goal. But there can be some drawbacks to one-way expert advice. Now, I'm sure that all of you can think back to your own experience. And there's a time where someone who really cared about you or someone who's really smart said that you should do this or you should do that. But what we know is that our motivation to pursue a plan is stronger when we feel we have some ownership in the creation of the plan and the ideas are coming from our own mind. And so that's one of the reasons why I don't want to lean on in my practice of just telling people what to do. Another limitation of one-way expert advice, where the expert tells people what to do, is that everyone's situation is unique. And so what works for one person might not work for another person. And I view the coaching process as a collaborative process. And in the collaborative process, your interests, your strengths, your resources, those are all the most important thing. And you are the expert in you. You know more about your situation than anyone else. And so if you're trying to find the best plan to move forward, it has to be deeply personal to your situation. Now, some people, when they start working with the wellness coach, think that it's a easy, quick fix. You go to the coach, they tell you how to do something, and then magically change happens. But change takes time, and coaching is a process. And if I had to describe the coaching process and simplify it into like 6 steps, this is what I would say. Coaching involves vision, motivation, challenges, strategies, action, and assessment. And it's just a cyclical process where you can go through those steps 1 through 6 over and over. And so any coaching relationships begins with a vision, which is what do you want to accomplish as a result of working with a coach? And then once the vision is clarified and fleshed out, then we'd have a conversation about what is motivating you, what's your inspiration for pursuing this vision? We'd also talk about what are some of the challenges or barriers that you feel are holding you back and preventing you from reaching your goal. And it's only after we have a good, clear vision and we understand the motivation and the challenges that we can come up with the best plan to move forward. Now, I've used the term vision and plan strategically, and many people are more likely used to hearing the word goal. And I'll say this about goal. There are 2 types of goals. There are outcome goals and there are process goals. An outcome goal is what we want to happen as a result of our action, and that's connected to our vision. But a process goal is more the actions or the behaviors or the process that we're going to engage in to try to make that vision a reality. Now, when many people stop to think about their health goal, they tend to hyper-focus on the outcome, on what they want to happen, but they don't focus as much on the process. And so in coaching, we focus on vision because that's important. That's what gives us the juice. But then after we focus on vision, we'd have to think about daily or weekly action steps to help turn that vision into a reality. Now, there are many reasons why someone might work with a wellness coach, but some of the top ones that come to my mind are motivation, focus and structure, partnership, and support. And let's talk a little bit about each one of those individually. Motivation is actually the number one reason why people work with a coach. And in my practice, I include motivational interviewing techniques in my conversations. And on top of that, motivation is a concept that I've thought a lot about. And so there's a lot that can be said about motivation, but I just want to share a few thoughts. So the first thought about motivation. Motivation is an emotion, and emotions change all the time based on context or situation. And so as a coach, one way that I tend to try to help support people's motivation is by helping to identify what situations, what contexts do you thrive in? Which context do you feel more motivated in? And at the same time, also trying to identify what contexts tend to demotivate you, which contexts tend to not make you thrive. Because if you can identify the environment and the situations that make you thrive, when you make your plan for how to accomplish a goal, you can include elements of that situation, of that environment, of that context to support your motivation to move forward. Another thought about motivation is we pride ourselves on doing the best, picking the best plan, doing the one perfect way to get from point A to point B. And if we hear an expert or health authority or someone we respect say that X, Y, and Z is the best way to get to such and such result, we tend to get hyper-focused on X, Y, and Z plan. Even if it's something that we hate, even if it's something that doesn't resonate with us, even if it's something that may not fit in our lives. And then we try to become motivated to fit into that box of whatever plan the expert mentioned was the best. And this is such a simple concept, but I've used it to help a lot of people to improve their health and well-being. And it is a simple flip of the script. Instead of focusing so much on how to create a physiologic or a physical outcome, instead focus a little bit more on how to create a motivating plan or a process that is psychologically appealing. Because if you create a plan that is inherently motivating and appealing, you're way more likely to do it. And when you're doing something, you're way more likely to get a physical result. Versus what most of us do is we stare at a plan that we hate and we try to figure out how to get motivated to do something that we hate. And so it's a simple tweak, but it can go a long way. Now, sometimes we do have to take our medicine and we may have to work on our mindset and change how we're looking at a tough plan. And we can use our mindset in order to make a plan more appealing. But as a coach, what I'd say is in addition to trying to do that, I really want to encourage people to let's start by just making a plan that is naturally, inherently motivating to you. Okay. Another reason why people might hire a wellness coach is focus and structure. And when I sit across from people, this is a very common scenario. Someone sits in front of me and they say, okay, Charles, I want to lose 20 pounds. I've got knee pain. I've got back pain. I want to start eating better. I want to start exercising more. I want to sleep better. I want to drink more water. I want to start meditating. I want to get my work-life balance. And they have a whole list of ambitions and goals. And I'm an ambition kind of guy. So if you got lots of goals, you'll be right at home with me. But when we have so many goals and ambitions, it can be overwhelming and hard to figure out what's the right place to start. And so as a coach, when someone has a whole list of goals, I will sit down with them, try to clarify their vision, then help them prioritize and focus on one or two areas, and then make a plan to start along that change path. Okay. And the last reason why someone might hire a wellness coach is partnership and support. If you've ever worked with a helping professional before, then you know how valuable it can be in a professional relationship with someone whose main goal is to just simply try to help you be a better version of you. I've been personal training for more than 20 years, and I've had personal training relationships that lasted 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And I've been coaching for nearly 10 years now, and I have coaching relationships that have lasted 2, 4, 6, 8 years. And as much as I pride myself on being an anatomy nerd and a physiology nerd, and I'm really dedicated to learning everything I can about the body, looking back, what I noticed is that often the biggest impact that I made on people was not all the stuff that I knew, but it was the supportive relationship and the partnership that I was able to provide to help them to get to their goals. So if you are looking for some combination of motivation, structure, partnership, then let's have a conversation and see how I might be able to help support you and help you to reach your wellness goals. I know I've said a lot, and I know that there's way more about wellness coaching that I probably didn't say. But what I'd say is that if you still have questions, just set up a discovery call and we can talk about it together. All right, I will let you go for now, but until later, be well.